Start the recording.
All right.
Okay. Let's bring this meeting to order. Orange Township Board of Zoning Appeals for Thursday, January 20th, 2022.
Roll call. Mr. Shipley,
Yes.
Ms. Sundar,
Yes.
Mr. Oster,
Yes.
Ms. Ross,
Yes.
Mr. Trebs.
Yes.
All right. The first item of business on our agenda is to elect a new chair and vice chair for the remainder of 2020. So we'll start with the chair if we have any nominations.
That's 2022.
Yeah, 2022.
Nominate Rick.
I second.
Are there any other nominations? Or
No
anyone
one
else want to be considered for it?
No one? Don't all speak at once.
All right, we have a motion on the table for Mr. Oster to become chair for 2022, seconded by Ms. Sundar. Those voting, Mr. Shipley?
Yes.
Ms. Ross?
Yes.
Mr. Oster?
Yeah.
Mr. Trebs?
Yes.
Ms. Sundar?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Oster, you will be chair. The next item is for a selection of a vice chair for 2022. Take any nominations?
Mr. Shipley.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion from Mr. Oster to nominate Mr. Shipley as vice chair for 2022, seconded by Mr. Trebs. Those voting, Mr. Shipley?
Yes.
Ms. Ross?
Yes.
Mr. Oster?
Yes.
Mr. Trebs?
Yes.
Ms. Sundar?
Yes.
Mr. Shipley will be vice chair for 2022.
Okay. Let's do the swearing in of witnesses. Anyone who intends to testify, please raise your right hand and be sworn. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony that you shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? State, I do. When it's your turn to offer testimony, please state your full name, address, and affirm that you've been sworn in.
And as staff, I affirm I've been sworn in. I also affirm.
The first variance application, VA-21-18.
All right, we'll go over the staff report. The applicant is Suncraft Corporation Incorporated, James Knox. The owner is Mary Sanders. The site is 2490 Coaster Trace. Parcel ID number of 318-210-12-004-000. That's zone single family plan residential district. They are seeking an area variance from rezoning case 19680 Meadows at Lewis Center for a structure to be encroach into the rear setback. The summary of the request is that they are requesting for a screened porch to encroach 15 feet into the 35 feet rear yard setback. The subject property is located on the south of Coaster Trace. And it's just north of Lewis Center Road. The site is currently owned by Mary Sanders. The surrounding areas To the north is single family planned residential district with a single family residence and also coastal trace open space. To the south is also zoned single family planned residential district. It's HOA open space, and then Lewis Center Road, and then across from that is a farm residence. To the east and west are all single family planned residential district and have single family homes. Provided you with a zoomed out aerial of the site and also a zoomed in aerial of the site. As you can see, this was as the house was being built. It is completed and does have a final compliance since then. The staff review, the proposed screen porch would encroach 15 feet into the 35-foot setback, roughly a 43% variance request from rezoning case 1968 Meadows at Lewis Center. They had exhibit site plan. At the time that the staff report was created, the plan showed 115 feet for the side depth, but it's actually 135 feet. And then measurements, it's 20 feet from the rear property line. And then this is the updated site plan that we received. I believe the property owner is here. Have any questions, or if she has any comments that she'd like to make? I do know from speaking with her that she did get approval from their HOA. It just came this week or last week. So their HOA has approved it. I did not receive any calls or comments from any neighbors. So that's where we're at.
Thank you, Jeff. Mary Sanders here. Do you wish to come up, state your name and address, and affirm you've been sworn in? And
Lynn Sanders, 2490 Coaster Trace, Lewis Center, Ohio. My name is actually Lynn. My middle name is Mary. So I don't know if that's a significant change.
Good to know.
Did you have anything to add, Ms. Sanders?
No, I just don't know why my builder is not here. Know if that's normal or.
Do you know anything about the construction? Now, this is going to be a screened in.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so
That's the foundation.
it's going to have a footer and a foundation on it, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Kind of like a concrete floor deal, and then build up and screened in.
No, it's not going to be concrete. It will be raised. There's a paver patio, and the screen porch will sit higher than the paver patio. There are steps that will go down.
Do we have
What?
any other pictures? I mean,
Yeah, I was kind of wondering.
Let me see what I have.
What do you have there?
Did you say the screen porch is going to be sitting over a paver patio?
No, the paver patio is right next.
So it's in the middle of the house.
Yes, well, it will come directly out from the kitchen, and it will edge the end of the house and come out just and meet the paver pad.
So this is gonna be kind of like on a deck,
No,
No.
deck
It's-
footer?
it's on a foundation footer, according to stone.
But that's
But
it's still a post,
that's just a post,
Yeah.
like a deck.
right? But it's in concrete.
It's in concrete.
Yeah, well, most
Right.
decks.
No. Yes, right. No.
Yeah, once you go to a footer, so it's gonna be built on like a deck.
Yeah, I get what you said.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah. Up off the ground and skirted.
yeah, the side views are showing that. Just to double check, the dimensions are 14 by 14, right?
Yes, sir.
Did you want to see this, Mr. Shipley? That's pretty much,
Oh.
You want to see it?
Trying to see over it.
Okay.
It's just like.
And it looks like if you look up there. So and correct me if I'm wrong, just for my own, so I can put things together. So the center there is the paved patio coming off the back of the house.
Yes.
The deck is going to come off the far side over here, and you'll have steps going down onto the patio. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. Right. Got it.
So it appears the house itself is at the setback.
Yes. It's right. That's why we had to apply for the variance, because it's right at the edge of the house.
And that's a 35
Okay,
foot setback in that development.
thank you.
Yeah, it's 35.
Yeah, but it's gonna have a foundation. It's gonna come on the side.
The house is on either side of you. There's a light area, like on the one to the left as we're looking at it. You know what that is on the other houses on either side of you?
The one as you're looking at the back of the house to the left has a small paver pad.
Okay.
And I don't think the one to the right has it.
It looks like
It
it's
sure
It looks like, yeah, it looks
Yeah.
like
There's,
both of them have pavers.
almost in the same spot.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's
Yeah.
over there.
Paper.
And those houses sit a little closer to the street. It's because my garage is at the front of the house. So
Mhm.
the house
Sideways,
sits
yeah.
back.
Are there any other questions?
That's me.
Does anybody want to make a
Not
motion
for
either
me.
way? Any comments from anyone?
I'll make a motion.
I have a comment just briefly. With our code, with our developments being planned districts, we have some that allow for the principal dwelling to be 35 feet and others that have the accessory building at 5 feet from the rear property line. This subdivision, this HOA, has pretty small lots with the 135 feet, which is like a minimum. And we have gotten quite a few variance requests here. We've reached out to the HOA to see if they would go through an amendment to their code to change this. At the time, they did not feel that they could get enough support from the residents. There are some lots that are pretty big, but a lot of the lots closer towards Lewis Center Road are small.
Mhm.
So at that time, they said they wanted to have their residents go through the variance process themselves and not go through the amendment, as they didn't think that the residents would want to spend that money to amend it. We are in the process of doing our code rewrite, and there is a possibility that some of our setbacks might change, kind of like an overlay district that we're looking at. But that's just something to look at. But we have received, since I've been here, we've done at least 4 variances in this HOA, so it is a common issue that we're dealing with.
Yeah, well, they do have some room there. And then, of course, that tree line. And then like a drainage ditch before you get to the road. So I kind of thought, in my opinion, they've got enough room there to give them that kind of leeway.
Based on your comment, are the setbacks going to be reduced in general?
In general, we believe they will be, but
Okay.
that is,
That was
we'll
just
see down the future.
curiosity.
Yep, we'll see down the future, and it could be something where we do something similar to having the principal dwelling as a setback and then accessory dwellings and units a little bit less. As this is something that we do run across in a lot of different areas.
I'll make a motion. And you're looking through our 7 factors. It is a substantial setback. It's 43%. But it is considered a substantial setback. But primarily based upon 1, HOA approval, which is interesting, saying that the HOA didn't want to change that, but yet individually they'll approve that. So HOA approval, no feedback from residents, neighbors, and the fact that we have approved variances in that same neighborhood. And it's a 35-foot setback. So based on those factors, I move to approve case number BA 2118 for property located at 2490 on Coastal Trace, Lewis Center, Ohio, seeking area variance that allow for a structure to encroach 15 feet into the 35-foot setback.
Second.
Thank you.
We have a motion made by Mr. Shipley to approve variance case VA-21-18, seconded by Ms. Sundar. Those voting, Mr. Shipley,
Yes.
Ms. Ross, Mr. Oster,
Yes.
Mr. Trevs,
Yes.
Ms. Sundar.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Ma'am, you do not have to. Miss Sanders. Miss Sanders, you don't need to stay if you don't want to. That's entirely up to you. I know some people sometimes get confused about that, so I was going to tell you don't need to stay. Hey, good luck.
All right, the next case on the agenda for tonight is variance case VA-21-19. The applicant owner is Brad McMahon. The site is 4766 Royal County Down Court, Westerville, Ohio. The parcel ID number is 318-140-18-019-000. It's zoned single family plan residential district. They're seeking an area variance from rezoning case 12-0223, sanctuary at the lakes, for a structure to encroach into the side yard setback. The applicant is requesting a proposed deck to encroach 4 feet 6 inches into the required 12 feet 6 inch side yard setback in an area zoned single family plan residential district. The subject property is located on the southeast of Royal County Down Court, and they're seeking the area variance from rezoning case 12-00 or 12-0223 Sanctuary at the Lakes. The surrounding areas are all zone single-family plan residential district. To the north is single-family residence, and then Royal County Down Court. To the south is HOA property, open space, and then the east and west is single-family residences. Provided you a zoomed-out aerial of the site, then also a zoomed-in aerial of the site. And the house has been completed, so they did have a final compliance, and it has been completed. The staff review, the side yard setback is 12 feet 6 inches. The proposed deck would encroach 4 feet 6 inches into the 12 feet 6 inch side yard setback. This is a 36% variance request from rezoning case 12-0223 Sanctuary at the Lakes. And we provided Exhibit 1 as a site plan showing the proposed deck dimensions and side yard distance. And then we did include a site photo from Google Street View just to show from the street what it looks like. Just with holidays and health issues coming up, we did not get site photos, so we did not have a site from the side or from the back of it. I did try to look on Google from the other street that's adjacent there, and the other houses block it, so you wouldn't be able to see the back. And, I believe the property owner and the applicant are here for any questions. Do they have any comments or anything they want to add? And I did receive a couple calls from neighbors, and they were all supportive of it. So I did not get any negative feedback from any of the residents.
Hi, everybody. Brian Lorenz, 4111 Village Club Drive in Powell. Here representing That's that I've been sworn in. Happy to speak if need be. Would you guys be okay? I do have a picture on my phone that shows the neighbors' houses to the back. Pass it around if you want to see it. If not, it's up to you. Back here.
It's of the neighbor's house?
It's both neighbors' houses. So the man's house is.
Uh-huh.
So you can see here is a house with a deck.
Yeah,
Their proposed house will look just like.
yeah,
or that
very similar,
picture.
yeah. Mhm.
Thanks for letting me do it.
This is what now?
So McMahon's house is right here where my hand is,
Uh-huh.
and their deck's essentially going to match the look of this deck, which is their next door neighbor to the south.
So their stairs are over in the 12 and a half?
I don't know that for sure,
Okay.
but I can tell you that the house adjacent to this house has did receive, it's my understanding, a variance for their patio, which extends way out into the rear setback.
Yeah. The rear.
Yeah. So
Where there's more room.
sorry about that. Here, this deck situation. This is our next door neighbor. Setback. I can say, but we also did receive HOA approval, and if I could, a copy of that. For the record. Okay. So yes, we're asking for a variance to encroach the side yard setback. When we originally started with the project, we were looking at putting it at 5.5 feet, but obviously variances are very important, and we wanted to show that we would be able to, work with the township, and so we reduced that by a foot. I think the way it situates and the way it lines out, it'll look much cleaner. It'll match the neighbors. So if you pushed it further in towards the house, it wouldn't be as aesthetically pleasing. You would have it going through the middle, almost to the grave room. The issue really gets in with the stairs. There's significant topography back there. The stair location there it's put in, I believe, under the building code. You just have to have a second egress for, life safety issues and whatnot. So we've got to have steps. And if they move them anywhere else within the deck, because of the topography and some of the other things that are going on there, it's just aesthetically and also, from a life safety standpoint, it makes the most sense to put it where we've placed it. I talked about a little bit some of the other variances that I believe were issued for some of the other accessory uses in the development. We're trying to create an outdoor living space that will not be a detriment to the adjacent homeowners and actually probably help add value to the neighborhood. Just like the last case you guys worked on, setbacks in this particular neighborhood, especially on the side, are very tough. The McMahon's lot gets thinner up at the top, and as you go towards the back, it kind of widens out. So part of their problem also is you can see their driveway, which almost squeezes the house kind of off center and further to that side setback. And then when we add in the stairs and the landing there, then that's where we get that situation. That's really all I had to add, unless you have questions for me or for the property owner or anything.
Is there a reason why you didn't put the stairs along the rear of it instead of down the side?
Let's give your address.
Good evening, Brad McMahon, 4766 Royal County Down. So we did design it that way, and it really encroaches on, it's a walkout lower level. So if you have the stairs coming to the back, there's a lot of topography there, so it's really tough to get in. Then also, if you would walk out of the basement, walk right into the stairs. The other issue we get when we did it that way is you see the builder stairs that are there now, and there's a room to the right. That room is on the setback line as well. So if we put the stairs in the rear of the deck, we start familiar with the setback line. And we did try to bump it in so it was even with the side of the house, as the side of the house is on the setback line. Then we have a privacy wall, which you'd be looking at right out of our living room, running right on the middle of the pavilion of one of the windows. So that's why we're asking for your approval to, we are building in that setback area, but it is just for the stairs. I have flagged it out. I've met with the neighbors. They've seen all the plans. They don't seem to have an issue with it.
Did you hear specifically from the neighbors to the south?
No, I don't believe so. They didn't state where they were. They were just one of the ones that received the letter. I know the neighbor to the north or east, they had contacted me and they told me where they lived. The other ones did not. They just asked what the plans were, and I let them know what it was, and they said they had no issues with it.
Can I see how the HOA letter reads, please?
We've been pretty tight on the 12.5 side because it's pretty thin already. 12.5 is not much at all. And, we're more flexible on the rear side. If it went out the rear and I wouldn't think a lot of the neighbors would necessarily maybe opposed to it, because once one person gets it, then they all can get it, or at least try to get it and apply for it. And it starts a new trend, and that they can break that 12.5 side setback.
Did you consider a plan that's to the inside, on this side where your barbecue is sitting?
Did, and this part of the house, this room is
Too close.
angled that way.
Right.
So when you put the stairs here, you are back into this setback as well.
Well,
Yeah.
if you come straight out, not angle it over.
Well, if you come straight out, then you're in a meeting.
Yes.
Well, unless you turn it like you did on this one. If you come out the width of the deck, make a right-hand turn. Now you're low enough, you probably are not going to see it from the windows or from the basement doors. Or how many times do you look out your basement door? They're kids. Yeah, I understand.
But that's the other thing with UV bulb finish that. So that will obstruct the flow going.
One of our questions is there another way to accommodate without being in the setback?
The only other way is the spiral staircase, which very
Very. Yeah, that's why
With the kids and
I was wondering why.
parents, kind of.
yeah. It's, we didn't come to you without really exploring.
Yeah.
all the
No,
options.
and I understand that, but there's ideal, which you take the entire setback and have more patio and a wider stair. Then there's something that you can live with. And we've got, what Mr. Oster said, it's a floodgate. Once we let one through, more will come. And this is for all of our variances. It's just not this. And that's why I was asking. It's one of our check boxes.
Let me ask this. So we've started at 5.5 feet. We could take it down to 4. That make you feel any better?
You mean from 4.6 to 4?
Yeah.
No. No.
It's,
You know,
But 6 inches isn't going to do much on the percent of the variance.
like I said, pretty much my time with BZA, they didn't like going under the 12 and a half.
Understand that.
It's, I know for a lot of things on the houses, like bump outs, like a kitchen, you know, that's only a couple feet. It goes over that 12 and a half and into that, and you have to get approval on even something like that, let alone something that's going into the ground. And, you know, and we're not really here to redesign
That's
anything.
Right.
We're just here to say yes or no.
That's right.
And I don't know, to me, it looks like you've got the room on the rear to come down in whatever kind of fashion that you'd want to do. And whether that's a little shallower of an L or whatever, but 4.5 into the 12 and a half is sizable.
What's the setback on to the rear? Out of curiosity.
35.
Should be 35.
Well,
But
you just gave a variance of 15 feet into a 35 setback.
There's an AP easement back there also.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, she didn't.
well, you
This
know,
is our
like I
case.
said, the rear setbacks are larger.
I understand that.
And we're a little more lenient on using more of your rear setback or yard, however you want to look at that. The sides are pretty tight,
Sides are really tight.
really tight.
Especially, yeah.
Almost all of them. Mine's that way.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. It's 12 and a half is, and that's why they've been pretty strict on the sides, because then the houses and that is just getting too close. You're almost, used to say within spitting distance, but you know.
To the point, the room to the left as we're looking at it, to the lot line is 36.6, according to the diagram you gave us. So we've got a little more room to do that. And that's that pointy room. I have no idea what size the room is.
So you're saying, look at putting it over on that side?
No, I was simply saying you're not even you're not up to the 35 at the closest point of the house, according to what I have here. And that's all.
So what you're saying is you feel that he has room to do it on the rear rather than onto the side?
That's what I'm saying. And like Rick said, we're not here to redesign
Right,
your,
no, of
your
course.
hard work. So.
Can I ask you a couple of procedural questions? I hear what you said. Awful. Voted on this, right? Now, I always like to ask voters, if you request a table after the next month, vote and you deny it. So, action. See that.
Yeah, so procedurally, if you know when you're going to come back, you would have just asked for a continuance. If you don't know when you're going to come back, you would have a tabling, and then you would have a tabling fee on top of that for when you do come back. If it does get denied, legally, what we've been told is that it has to have a substantial change to be able to come back. Can't be the same request. So that would be that, and then there'd be a brand new application fee and everything.
Do you have a fee for continuing?
For continuing, there'd be no fee if we did it for the next month. If we had a set date, even if it's 2 months out, if we know set date.
Yes, lights on. But no, this. Door here, please. Come to the spot.
Well, I don't think that you, sorry guys,
You're fine.
exceed the side setback.
Yes.
No, but the rear.
Well, you might,
Or
but
Yeah.
two.
Yeah, I'm just thinking because I don't this area right here. If the stairs was still.
You don't. You don't know. Two.
Yeah.
That's it. It is
It's listed.
All right, so what,
It kind of does.
Give it some options. Yeah. They can work something out. They end up doing something still violate that rear setback.
Yeah, you would just put it onto the rear and then say, okay,
Yeah.
I'm asking for this much on the rear. And like I said, there's so much more room to the rear.
I think that's what we'd like to do.
It's the best option because it's free, Yeah, you don't really want to spend any more than you need to.
And when do you meet again? Is it always going to be the date?
No.
It'll be February 17th.
And I know, one of the
Yeah.
push on so many things is construction and all that stuff. You guys can let us go ahead and take a look at what else we can do.
You need a motion for
Yeah,
that?
we'll need the board to make a motion to
Yeah,
approve.
so based upon the applicant's request, I make a motion that we approve a continuance of VA 2119 to the 17 February 2022 Board of Zoning Appeals.
I'll second that.
Motion made by Mr. Shipley to accept the continuance for variance case VA-21-19 until February 17th. Seconded by Mr. Oster. This voting, Mr. Shipley,
Yes.
Mr. Ross,
Yes.
Mr. Oster,
Yes.
Mr. Trebs,
Yes.
Ms. Sandar.
Yes.
And Brian, we send out the packets a week in advance, so if we
Okay.
could have it like that Monday or Tuesday of the week before, so it'd be we'll send it out the 10th. So if
Okay.
we could have it the 7th.
Okay. I'll be in touch. Okay, sounds good. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I guess number 4 kind of is. Yeah, kind of the spike, I guess, that nails that request down.
Like do here, if they start there and then stop. Okay.
Then our next item on the agenda is approval of minutes. Right now, we do not have the November 18th minutes. The December 9th minutes were sent out via email. If you had time to review them, great. If not, we can postpone them until the next meeting.
It's up to you. I did find one thing, I think, but it's up to you. Yeah, it was, I think it was on page 9, line 16. I've used that body shop. Not I'm. That's,
Oh, I see.
yeah, that's the only thing that I've seen, but, I'm not as good as you on this because my brain seems to just go right over a lot of those spelling things. You read it and it reads right, and I know what I said because I used that body shop.
Is that page 9, Jeff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
I believe that's page 9, line 16. There was
It
another.
might have been the pages kind of from the transcript when it
Yeah.
went from the notepad version to
So
the
go-
PDF, it kind of changed.
Can you go up to the page above it then? Yeah, there's a few of these in there, and I wasn't sure. I stopped keeping track. Line 22 is, I think Rick said that, but there's nothing in front of that. So, and there's a few of them I found in there that there's, so where it's right above it, line 17, where I was speaking, then I think that Rick can correct me, but I think that was Rick that said that. It wasn't me.
I do believe that was me.
Yeah. And so there wasn't anything in front of it. I think there was a few of those in there that I found.
I didn't even catch that because, yeah.
Well, I stopped writing them down because so that's the one thing I was going to bring up with those. And I think this is the first version of these type minutes we've had.
Right.
So I was going to bring up the fact that there was multiple occasions in there where there was a name missing of who was what. Right.
Only other thing I saw was a that in there. And when I read it, I said, yeah, that's probably exactly how I said it too. It's one of those, but when you look at it in print, you're going that, but that was the only one at line 16 that I caught. You didn't catch anything?
I didn't even look at it because it came in after I looked at email, and the last 3 days have not been. So I'll just leave it at that.
Okay. Fair enough.
If we want more time to look at them, we can do that. And
I'll
Get back up in
definitely
February.
look at them. If there's something else, I'll send it to you.
yeah, we can just postpone until February and do both November and December's.
We can do that.
Why don't we do that?
We can do that.
We'll have time to.
Yeah, I mean, I read through it. I did too. And it looked pretty good, except probably. But I'm sure there's more in there.
Yep. This is the way we're going to have these from this point forward. It's transcribed.
Possibly.
Okay.
I didn't like this version as well as the old. And is it because it's double spaced? Is that
Yeah.
the main difference?
This is how it comes from the court reporter, how their transcripts are, and it's what we get when we have legal cases that we get the transcripts from. Court reporters, this is how it comes. So.
Well, yeah, maybe some people feel it's better to be double spaced, widened out like that. I don't know. I found it more difficult. Or maybe I was just used to the old.
No, I was the same way. I the same thing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Really.
It's all right, but I think probably maybe just different.
Okay, so is that a wrap for everything that we need to do?
We need to make a motion on the minutes, right? We're either going to approve them or.
We don't need to make a motion
Okay.
if we're pushing them back to
Pushing.
next month.
Okay.
We'll just
Okay.
continue it.
So
Need
we
a-
keep
Adjournment of the meeting. That's all the
Okay.
business that I have.